Gardening is a great pastime. There are many benefits besides the vegetables and herbs. Have you ever grown your own vegetables, Simone?
I've thought about it, but I don't exactly have a green thumb. What about you?
No, but I'd really like to try. Like you, and probably our viewers at home, I have some obstacles. Enough land for a vegetable garden is one, not to mention time to keep up with a full-blown garden. To figure out a solution, we met some growers at Dunbar Community Garden Project, and they had just the thing.
Hi, my name's Susan Alman. I work at the Dunbar Garden in Little Rock, Arkansas. This is Fresh Fixins, and today we're gonna plant a tomato plant and a basil plant in a container to create a little container garden. We're gonna start with a plastic 5-gallon bucket, and you can use a pot if you want, but we used a drill to drill a hole in it and 3 holes in the bottom in a triangle. And then we also have a 3 basil plants, a tomato, little watering can, and some potting soil. So first thing we did was do the holes. The next thing we're gonna do is take our garden soil and put a little bit in the bottom. And this is filled up probably 2/3 of the way. And you can just eyeball it and readjust. It's not the end of the world if you have to add a little bit of soil or take some out. And then you want to just place the tomato plant right in the middle. And then we're going to break these guys up. These are our 3 basil plants that are in one pot, because I want to put them around the tomatoes in a triangle. So I'm putting one on one side, another one, just making a triangle, kind of like with the bottoms. And they might flop over, but you can adjust once you add the other soil. So we're going to take the rest of the soil and just fill in what we need to. Maybe just throw it all in there. And you want to put it in so that the top of your plant is just a little bit above the new soil, the top of the dirt in the old pot. And then just kind of spread it around. And you want to use a pretty big pot or a big bucket so that the roots can go down further as far as they can. Got the watering can. This just has fresh, not too hot, not too cold water in it. Give your plants a little drink. When you put it outside, you want to put it on top of something so that it can drain out. And so I would just take a couple bricks and put it like that, and you're good to go. This will grow all summer long. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy your container garden. You'll have tomatoes and basil all summer long, and keep it fresh.
If you'd like to learn more about container gardening or gardening in general, Dunbar Garden provides free consultations. You can find them on Facebook, give them a call, or just stop by. They're located at 1800 South Chester Street.
You know, another alternative to the container garden is a raised bed garden.
I think I've seen those at community gardens around the city.
That reminds me, now that the Love Your Block grant submissions are in, I can't wait to see how the grants are going to be used to beautify the neighborhoods.
Now, is that the neighborhood program that the Home Depot Foundation contributed to?
Yeah, they gave a $10,000 grant to help, and 35 lucky groups will receive $1,000 to help their neighborhoods. Past recipients used the money to build a footbridge, upgrade playground equipment, and add park benches and grills to common park areas. I wonder if any of them this year will choose to create a community garden.
The recipients will be working on their projects this summer. Once they are underway, we'll be sure to show you some of the exciting work going on in these neighborhoods.
Right now, it's time to head into the kitchen with Jenn Breton for Time and Sense. As a culinary student and mother of 3 teenagers, she knows a thing or two about saving both time and money.
Welcome to Time and Sense. My name is Jenn Breton.
Today we're in the kitchen and we're going to talk about basic ways to save time and money without going overboard. So I have here some of the basic tools that I would suggest someone would need. Basic spatulas, a couple of good knives, kitchen shears, we have measuring cups, measuring spoons, you know, the normal thing. I have here a pastry cutter. This does more than cut pastry. This is a huge time saver. When you use this on fruit, mashing up an egg for like your pasta salad, those kinds of things, you can use this for so many more things than just your pastry. So, other time saving and money saving tips. You don't have a baking rack. What do? Before you start baking, can take your rack out of your oven, put it down on the counter, so that way you can take out later your baked goods. Or let's say if you have hot pots on the stove and you need somewhere to put them, you don't have a trivet, there you go. Easy peasy, eh? All right, so let's talk about things in our pantry. Let's say, for instance, you need some marshmallows and you're not going to use the whole bag. What to do? Because then you're going to have probably hard marshmallows. Well, you can do a couple different things. You can put them in a freezer bag, put them in the freezer. That way, when you need them next time, a half cup, a quarter cup, take out what you need, let them thaw, and they'll be just as soft as when you put them in. Let's talk about peanut butter. Normally, when you put your peanut butter in the cupboard, you put it in like this. Well, if you have your natural peanut butter, you know how it gets separated, and then you got to stir, 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 and it's just a mess. Store your peanut butter like this. The oil will rise to the top, and then when you need it, turn it over, and the oil will help emulsify it. You cook something in the microwave. What happens? You don't put a towel or you don't put a cover over it and splatters everywhere. And you should probably do this every now and again anyways, but I have a nice trick for you that doesn't take a lot of elbow grease. Take you some wet paper towels and we're going to put them in some water. What I like to do is just put them in there, get them nice and wet, and I also do a little deodorizing at the same time. Put a little lemon juice on it. Put them in your microwave about 3 to 5 minutes, let's say. Put them in there. Zap them. When you're done, let it cool down till you're able to touch them, probably 2 or 3 minutes. But the steam from the paper towels gets all the gunk loosened up. The lemon juice makes it smell good. Then you just use your paper towels, wipe it all out, and you're good to go. Let's also talk about after you've done all your dishes. The hardest part for me is when you're putting your dishes on the counter to dry and you go back the next day to put them away and they're still wet. I have a couple tricks for you for that. So you wash your wine glasses. You don't want them sitting on your towel because they're not going to get dry on the inside. Take you some chopsticks. The flat ones work the best, but we have round ones here today, but it's not going to matter because you have your towel. After you've done washing, you can line up your wine glasses on there. That way you have a little vent in there to get the water all going. So you come back tomorrow, they'll be nice and dry. Well, that's going to do it for us today. Thanks for joining us for Time and Sense. We'll see you next time.
Who knew that storing natural peanut butter upside down would save you on stirring?
Or that freezing marshmallows made it easier to take them apart. Jennifer had some pretty good tips. I'll definitely keep the wet towel trick in mind for the microwave.
We're going to leave the kitchen now and head to a quiet place, at least in theory. Yoga has become one of the latest exercise trends. You hear it mentioned in sitcoms, on movies, and it seems everyone in Hollywood is doing it. There seem to be as many types as there are people, but when you see someone practicing yoga, you tend to see the same thing. A studio with groups of people and mats.
It's great to find a studio, but don't stress yourself if you don't have to. A home practice is a great way to de-stress. Michele Boyd met up with a yoga instructor that teaches children as well as adults and shows us some yoga poses for all ages and spaces.
I'm Michele Boyd. On today's And Breathe, we're going to talk about yoga and focus on some of the ways that it can relieve tension and stress and, most importantly, help you remember to breathe. So let's head on inside and see what our yoga instructor can tell us about the benefits of yoga and maybe even demonstrate some moves for us. So Amy, what can you tell us about some of the benefits to yoga?
Some of the great benefits, and first off that a lot of people think of, is just simple relaxation. You can start linking your breath to your body movements, and when you do that, it has such a calming effect. And then you actually learn more about your body in the process, creating a balance from the inside out, which not only will help you on the yoga mat, but will help you out in the world too.
Do you have any tips for somebody wanting to start a home practice?
I think a great thing for a home practice may not even be doing poses, but just to be able to take 5 minutes a day to sit quietly in a room and just listen to yourself breathe. But if you'd like to start with some asanas, or postures as we call them, you're really best to go get a CD or stop by your local studio and try to get some of the poses from there and then move from that. It's the safest way to go so you can learn what your body can do and you can listen to it and determine what's hurtful pain and what's good pain, you know, strength building.
Okay, so what about kids? Would you suggest yoga for them?
Oh, definitely I would suggest yoga for children. In fact, I teach a children's class. And what we do in class is make up some of our own poses, and you would be amazed what these children come up with. And so for parents, really the things that I suggest is either take the child's favorite book and make it come to life with yoga poses, or even go out for a walk in the neighborhood and notice things as you go. The trees, the cats, the dogs. Go back home and then make up your own yoga poses to imitate what you saw on your walk. It's a great way to get children introduced to not only yoga, but to just some sort of physical activity. Let me show you a few.
Butterfly pose starts in a seated position. Bring the bottoms of your feet together, grasp your toes, and sit up straight and tall. Remember to breathe as you're doing this. Begin to bring your knees up toward your ears and round your back. Then bring your legs back to the original position to imitate a butterfly wings fluttering. This pose is great for relieving tension in the lower back and increases flexibility in the ankles, knees, and hips. Our next pose is cat-cow. Start on all fours, keeping your back straight. As you breathe out, drop your head and raise your back, kind of like a hissing cat. As you breathe in, arch your back, dropping your belly button toward the floor, and lift your head. Repeat this a few times. Cat-cow helps improve flexibility of your spine and eases tension in the neck and shoulders, common issues for people who work at a desk. The final pose is tree. Start by standing straight and tall. You may want to put the foot of your one leg out just a bit, still touching the floor for balance. When you are ready, bring your balanced foot in and place it on your calf, foot flat against your leg. If this is too difficult, you can place your foot just above your ankle. Once your foot is in place, bring your hands up, palms together, in front of your chest. Now to make the pose truly look like a tree, raise your hands above your head and spread your fingers wide. If you choose, you can also move your hands back and forth over your head to look like branches blowing in the wind. Tree pose is an easy one to do in the grocery store too. Just place a foot at the ankle with your hands on your shopping cart. This pose helps improve balance and concentration while strengthening the ankles. Well, I'm going to stick around here and practice being a butterfly for a little bit. I hope you found a pose that can help you relax, de-stress, and breathe.
So what kind of things would you see on a walk around your neighborhood? Any you can make a pose out of?
Sure, I bet it'd be pretty easy to mimic a parked car.
It's time for a quick break. When we return, we'll introduce you to the Arkansas Food Bank's Mr. Green Jeans and tell you why the volunteers' green thumb is a treasure to them.